The International Criminal Court is set to begin a hearing on war crimes charges against fugitive Uganda warlord Joseph Kony from tomorrow. Kony faces 39 charges, including murder, torture, rape, and sexual slavery, in the ICC's first ever in absentia hearing. He led the Lord's Resistance Army, accused of killing over 100,000 people and abducting 60,000 children. Survivors have reported brutal torture, forced family killings, and sexual slavery under his command. Kony has been on the run for nearly 20 years, hiding in Central African jungles while international efforts to capture him continue. In New Zealand, police have shot dead a father who has been on the run with his 3 children for nearly 4 years. Tom Phillips was shot dead by police following a robbery in rural Waikato. Phillips had vanished in late 2021 with his 3 children, then aged 9, 10, and 12, sparking a nationwide manhunt. According to the Deputy Commissioner of Police, 1 child has been taken into custody, and officers are actively searching for the 2 missing children. Phillips managed to avoid arrest for almost 4 years by hiding in a thick bushland and isolated farmland. His disappearance gripped national attention and sparked questions about how he remained unseen for so long. The contest to replace Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has officially begun. Today, Liberal Democratic Party's Toshimitsu Motegi became the first to declare his candidacy just today after PM Ishiba announced he would step down as the party president. PM Ishiba's resignation follows his party's defeat in July upper house elections, which has fueled growing discontent among rank-and-file members. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is ready to hit Russia with fresh wave of sanctions after Moscow launched its biggest air attack yet on Ukraine, killing at least 4 and setting government offices ablaze in Kyiv. Speaking at the White House, Trump voiced his dissatisfaction with the situation and promised a stronger response as peace negotiations remain at a standstill. Between late Saturday and early Sunday, the Ukraine Air Force reported that Russia launched a record-breaking assault with over 810 drones and 13 missiles targeting Ukraine. U.S. President Donald Trump has suggested a Gaza deal could come soon to secure the release of all the hostages held by Hamas after issuing what he called his last warning to the Palestinian militant group. Trump said Israel is already on board and warned of consequences if Hamas refuses. In a swift reply, Hamas has said it is ready to sit at the negotiating table, citing new American ideas for a possible ceasefire. A leading Israeli hostages group hailed Trump's intervention as a true breakthrough. In early March, Trump issued a similar ultimatum to Hamas, demanding it free all remaining hostages immediately and turn over bodies of the dead hostages. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is calling on Muslim and world nations to cut all political and trade ties with Israel, accusing it of catastrophic crimes. In a fiery message posted on X after meeting his cabinet, Khamenei said cooperation with what he called the Zionist regime is unacceptable. He also admitted Iran's oil output is lagging behind global producers and pushed for modern methods, new markets, and less reliance on China, who is currently Tehran's biggest buyer. Israel's Ramon Airport near Eilat briefly shut down on Sunday after a drone launched from Yemen struck its arrivals hall, injuring 2 people with shrapnel. Takeoffs and landings were stopped for about 2 hours while the military investigated how the explosive-laden drone evaded air defenses. The Houthi group claimed responsibility, threatening more attacks in support of Palestinians in Gaza. The airport quickly resumed operations. The attack marks a sharp escalation following Israel's recent strikes on Houthi leaders in Yemen as tensions stretch across the region. Saudi Arabia has unveiled a new humanitarian projects in Syria, focusing on clearing more than 75,000 cubic meters of wartime rubble around Damascus. The initiative was announced during a Damascus event where Saudi's King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center signed an agreement with Syrian emergency officials to recycle 30,000 cubic meters of debris from destroyed buildings. And this follows Riyadh's recent multi-billion-dollar investment deals aimed at Syria's broader infrastructure rebuild. The projects also include restoring schools, hospitals, bakeries, and vital water and sewage systems, marking a deepening partnership between Saudi Arabia and Syria's new government. Turkey's main opposition, the Republic People's Party, called on Istanbul residents to rally after police barricaded its provincial headquarters in what party leaders described as a siege. The move followed a court order removing the party's Istanbul leadership over alleged vote irregularities, a decision CHP says is a politically motivated crackdown to weaken Erdogan's rival. CHP chairman Özgür Özel urged supporters to protect the home of Atatürk, referring to Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, modern Turkey's founder. CHP has denied all accusations, calling the legal push an attempt to silence opposition ahead of elections. An Australian judge has pronounced a sentence in the infamous mushroom murders. The killer, Erin Patterson, has been sentenced to life in prison with parole after 33 years. She was convicted in July of triple murder for serving a poisonous meal to her estranged husband's parents, aunt, and uncle. She had hidden the lethal mushrooms into a beef Wellington lunch served at her home in 2023. Her estranged husband's parents and aunt died soon after, while the uncle survived. The crime and trial has sparked a global media frenzy, drawing podcasters, film crews, and true crime fans to the courthouse in the rural town of Morwell in Victoria. Argentina's President Javier Milei has vowed to accelerate his libertarian reforms after a crushing defeat in Buenos Aires provincial elections ahead of highly anticipated midterms. Milei has slashed public spending, particularly on the elderly, since taking office in December 2023, and accepted his party's clear defeat by the center-left Peronist movement. A 5-day strike has begun on the London Underground, set to disrupt millions of commuters' journey and bring the city's iconic tube network to a near standstill from today through Thursday. The Rail, Maritime and Transport Workers Union is protesting over pay, fatigue from extreme shift patterns, and demanding a shorter work week. Transport for London warns that little or no service will run during the week. The strike threatens chaos across all 11 tube lines, impacting some 5 million daily passengers' trips, but commuters urged to plan alternative travel options. India and the European Union gear up for the 13th round of free trade agreement talks starting from today in New Delhi, focusing on key issues like non-tariff barriers, market access, and public procurement. EU Trade Commissioner Markus Sefcovic and Agriculture Commissioner Christoph Hansen will be visiting New Delhi to inject political momentum into the talks. Both sides aim to conclude the agreement by the end of 2025 amid rising global trade uncertainties and a renewed push for economic partnerships. Following directives from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf founder Imran Khan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Ali Amin Gandapur has announced that a grand rally will be held in Peshawar at the end of the month. Though he did not specify the exact date, in a video message, Gandapur said the date of the rally will be disclosed 5 days prior to the event, adding that it will be held in support of real freedom and the supremacy of the Constitution and the law. In India's New Delhi, Delhi police have arrested a suspect 5 days after a golden urn was stolen during a Jain religious ceremony near the Red Fort. Police confirmed that the accused was nabbed by a crime branch team from Uttar Pradesh's Hapur. The urn, valued at over 1 crore rupees, weighed around 760 grams and was studded with diamonds, rubies and emeralds, totaling another 115 grams. Police say the accused posed as a community member during the festival and was caught on CCTV. The theft occurred while crowds were distracted during the Lok Sabha Speaker's visit. Monsoon season's devastation in Himachal Pradesh has left 366 people dead. This includes 203 fatalities in rain-related incidents such as landslides, flash floods, drowning, and lightning strikes. At least 163 deaths were due to road accidents. The State Disaster Management Authority stated that the total estimated loss to public and private property amounts to over 4,080 crore rupees, which translated to more than $460,000. Devastating floods in India's Punjab have now claimed 48 lives, with officials confirming 2 more fatalities on Sunday. Crops spread across nearly 1.76 lakh hectares lie ruined, marking the state's worst deluge in over 3 decades. Despite the destruction, Punjab's Education Minister has announced that all schools, colleges and universities will be reopening from today. However, if any institution is still flood hit, the final call on closure will rest with the respective deputy commissioner. In a first for Jammu and Kashmir, heavy load drones were deployed to deliver ration and other supplies to stranded residents in Katwa district. The special mission, jointly carried out by the district administration and the Indian Army, came after the village, home to over 15 families, remained cut off for days. Torrential rains and flash floods have triggered landslides, washing away approach routes and leaving residents marooned. The drone operation provided a lifeline in the crisis. Hong Kong remains under the number 8 typhoon signal as tropical cyclone Tapas skirts with 200 kilometers southwest of the city, expected to make landfall over western Guangdong. Over 100 flights have been cancelled and all-day schools classes are suspended amid persistent heavy rainfall forecasted to continue today and tomorrow. The Hong Kong Observatory says unless Tapa moves closer or intensifies significantly, higher storm signals are unlikely. Precautions remain in place as the city braces for more adverse weather. Bolivia has celebrated its annual National Pedestrian and Cyclist Day on Sunday by closing city streets to motorized vehicles for 18 hours, turning urban areas to vibrant spaces for walking, cycling, and outdoor activities. The event aimed to reduce environmental pollution and promote healthier lifestyles. Citizens in major cities like El Alto and La Paz participated enthusiastically, filling the streets with bicycles, skateboards, and jogging groups. Observed every first Sunday of September since 2011, this day highlights Bolivia's commitment to environmental awareness and active mobility. Japanese stocks climbed on Monday while the yen slipped as investors react to Prime Minister Ishiba's resignation amid growing political uncertainty. This trend follows a weekend announcement shaking markets and driving a sharper focus on potential successors like Tsunai Takeichi, known for his dovish fiscal and monetary stances. The currency slipped by approximately 0.7% against the dollar, while Nikkei index rose around 1%, supported by hopes for accommodative policy. Now, at the same time, Japan's government bond yields spiked. Long-dated yields hit record highs, signaling markets are preparing for a possible return. Gold prices remain steady near all-time highs on Monday, closing in on the crucial $3,600 per ounce level as markets anticipate a U.S. Federal Reserve rate cut. Soft August job data, including a rise in unemployment to a near four-year high, has swung expectations towards a 25 basis point cut, with a 50 BPS move also on the table. The slower dollar and lower yields boost gold's appeal, while China continues its 10th straight month of gold buying and speculators raise their net long positions. All eyes now turn to this week's U.S. inflation data for clues on the size of the cut ahead. Oil prices edged higher Monday after OPEC announced it would increase production at a slower pace in October, signaling a cautious approach to global supply amid demand uncertainty and geopolitical risks. Brent crude rose more than 1% to $66.31, while U.S. oil moved above $62.5, with traders interpreting the move as a sign OPEC seeks to protect prices despite pressure to ease output controls. OPEC officials said the group remains committed to market stability and will monitor demand recovery and inventory levels closely. Analysts warned that any escalation in West Asia tensions or weak economic data from China could further influence oil price trajectory in the coming weeks. The U.S. is investigating a fraudulent email reportedly sent from the account of Republic lawmaker. The message is said to have contained malware, allegedly designed to give China access to details of the Trump administration's trade talks with Beijing. The mail was reportedly sent by Representative John Mulinar in July to U.S. trade groups, law firms, and government agencies. According to a Wall Street Journal report, the email has been traced to a Chinese state-sponsored hacking group called APT41. The first malware email was reportedly sent just before the U.S.-China trade talks in Sweden in July. Meanwhile, the Chinese embassy in Washington has said that it is not familiar with the details of the reported attack and that all countries face cyber attacks that are difficult to trace. A German woman is suing Google over nude photos and explicit videos of her that appear in search results. The woman's private images and videos were stolen from her Google Cloud account and posted on online porn sites. Hackers also stole her ID, making the content easily searchable by her name on Google. Despite repeated requests to remove the material, Google allegedly failed to act, leaving the content accessible. The woman says that this has caused severe emotional distress and harmed her reputation. After unsuccessful attempts to resolve the issue out of court, she has now sued Google in Ireland, where the company's European headquarters are located. Scientists are uncovering more about how space travel affects the human body. A new study from the University of California, San Diego suggests that stem cells exposed to space conditions may show signs of accelerated aging. Researchers sent blood-forming stem cells to the International Space Station for about a month, while another set stayed on Earth. The spacefaring cells showed reduced ability to renew themselves, increased DNA damage, and inflammation inside their mitochondria. The good news, the damage wasn't permanent. Once back on Earth, many of the changes were partially reversed. The findings add to the growing research on the toll of long space missions as agencies prepare for journeys deeper into the solar system.